The late afternoon sun bathed the little village in a golden haze. Mei Lin walked along the dirt path that cut through the rice paddies, her woven basket swinging gently in her hand. She had just finished helping her neighbor harvest sweet potatoes and was now on her way to the market. Her hair, black as ink, was tied in a loose braid, and her dress was simple, faded cotton patched at the knees. She was not rich, not educated beyond middle school, yet her smile could light up even the most exhausted villager's day. The market square was alive with voices and color. Merchants shouted their prices, chickens clucked under bamboo cages, and children chased each other through the crowd. Mei Lin was known by everyone. She had been raised here after losing her parents young. Though poor, she was never without kindness. She often helped the elderly carry their goods, fetched water for mothers too tired to walk, and gave away the vegetables she grew even when she needed them herself. As she passed a tea stall, her sharp eyes caught sight of an old woman sitting alone on a wooden bench. The woman looked out of place. Her silk shawl and jeweled hairpin were far too fine for a village market. She lifted a porcelain cup of tea to her lips, but as soon as she drank, her face twisted. The cup fell from her hand and shattered on the ground. "Ah!" the woman gasped, clutching her throat. Her skin turned pale, and her breathing grew ragged. Without thinking, Mei Lin rushed forward. "Grandmother, what's wrong?" she cried, kneeling at the woman's side. The old woman's lips were trembling, her eyes watering. "Tea, poisoned!" she whispered hoarsely before collapsing into Mei Lin's arms. The crowd screamed in shock. Some backed away, fearful, while others pointed at the fallen cup. "Poison!" one of the stall owners shouted. "Don't touch her, it could be dangerous," warned another. But Mei Lin ignored them. She laid the woman flat on the ground and pressed her fingers to the pulse at the wrist. Weak, Freddy. Her village life had given her more than just resilience. Her late grandmother had been a healer, and Mei Lin had learned remedies since she was a child. Quickly, she pried open the woman's mouth, using her scarf to force her to gag. Bitter-smelling liquid spilled onto the dirt. Then Mei Lin shouted to the crowd, "Water! Salt! Quickly!" Reluctantly, someone handed her a jug. Mei Lin mixed salt into the water with shaking hands and pressed the rim to the woman's lips, forcing her to drink. She massaged her throat until the woman retched again, expelling more of the poisoned tea. The market had fallen silent. The villagers watched in awe as Mei Lin worked with a calm far beyond her years. Her hands were steady, her voice firm, though inside her heart pounded like a drum. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the old woman's breathing eased. Her color returned faintly, and her eyes fluttered open. Mei Lin let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "You are safe now, grandmother," she said softly, brushing stray strands of gray hair from the woman's damp forehead. The old woman blinked up at her, gaze filled with both pain and wonder. "Child, you saved me." Mei Lin smiled, though her brow was still furrowed with worry. "It was nothing. I could not stand by and do nothing." The crowd began murmuring again. Some whispered about who the old woman could be. No ordinary villager dressed like that. Others speculated darkly about who had poisoned her tea. Before Mei Lin could ask anything more, 2 black cars screeched to a halt at the edge of the market. Men in black suits leapt out, their presence so imposing it silenced the square instantly. They rushed toward the old woman, bowing their heads. "Madam! Madam, are you all right?" one of them cried. The old woman coughed weakly. "I would not be, if not for this girl." Their eyes turned sharply to Mei Lin, who suddenly felt very small kneeling in the dirt with her patched dress and worn sandals. "Bring her with us," the old woman whispered before she fainted again. The guards nodded and, without further explanation, helped Mei Lin to her feet. The villagers stared wide-eyed as she was ushered toward the sleek black car, her heart racing faster with every step. The ride into the city was overwhelming. Mei Lin sat by the window, clutching her basket like a shield. The neon lights of skyscrapers soon replaced the fading glow of lanterns from her village. She had never been this far, never seen streets so wide or buildings so tall. At last, the car turned into the driveway of a grand estate. Marble pillars rose toward the sky, lanterns glowed like stars along the path, and guards lined the entrance with sharp eyes. Mei Lin felt her knees weaken. Inside, doctors were already waiting. They rushed the old woman onto a stretcher, barking orders and attaching tubes. Mei Lin hovered uncertainly at the door, ignored by everyone until a stern-looking butler approached her. "You, come with me." She was led into a lavish sitting room where everything shone with wealth. Velvet curtains, gold-trimmed furniture, polished floors that reflected the chandelier above. Mei Lin had never imagined such a place existed. She stood awkwardly in the center, her fingers twisting her scarf. After a tense silence, the butler finally spoke. "Do you know who you saved?" Mei Lin shook her head. That was Madame Zhao, matriarch of the Zhao family. She is the mother of 3 heirs, each a titan of industry, each commanding empires worth billions. If she had died tonight, he stopped, his eyes narrowing. But you prevented it. The weight of his words pressed down on Mei Lin like a stone. She hadn't thought, hadn't planned. She had only acted out of instinct. The butler studied her, perhaps surprised that such a plain village girl had done what many would not dare. "You will remain here until the young masters arrive. They will want to see the one who saved their mother." Mei Lin's eyes widened. "The young masters?" "Yes," the butler said, voice low and deliberate. "The 3 most powerful men in this nation. And tonight, they will meet you." Mei Lin's breath caught. She clutched her scarf tighter, heart thundering in her chest. The life she had known in the quiet village was about to change forever. The Zhao family mansion stood like a fortress of power in the heart of Shanghai, its grand pillars illuminated by golden lights. Inside, in the opulent living hall adorned with crystal chandeliers and priceless paintings, Mei Lin sat stiffly at the edge of an oversized velvet sofa. Her palms were clammy. She pressed her worn shawl tightly against her knees, her gaze glued to the marble floor beneath her shoes. The silence of the room felt suffocating. Then, the low hum of engines echoed from the driveway outside. One by one, luxury cars pulled up before the mansion, their headlights slicing through the night. "They have arrived," murmured the butler with a calm voice that carried an undeniable weight. Mei Lin's chest tightened. The 3 heirs of the Zhao family, the most powerful CEOs in the nation. She had never imagined she would face men like them. She was just a country girl who had grown up tending herbs with her grandmother. The heavy doors swung open. The first to enter was tall and commanding, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit that seemed stitched to perfection. His dark hair was slicked back, jawline sharp, and eyes like cold steel. Even the air around him felt icy. "How is Mother?" His voice was low, deep, and controlled, every syllable carrying authority. "That is the first young master." "Zhao Tianming," whispered a maid near Mei Lin. Zhao Tianming, eldest son, CEO of Zhao Group, master of real estate, banking, and high finance. The very mention of his name caused entire industries to tremble. He glanced once at Mei Lin, and the girl felt as if her soul had been laid bare. Before Mei Lin could recover, another figure entered. He wore a navy suit, not as severe as the first. His presence was calmer, his smile faint but reassuring, like the warmth of a gentle breeze. His brown hair was slightly tousled, and his eyes carried a thoughtful glint. "Brothers, let us not cause a storm here. The important thing is that Mother survived." His voice was smooth, balanced, diplomatic. Zhao Wei Liang, the second son, CEO of a pharmaceutical and tech empire. Known for his intelligence and diplomacy, his charm was quieter but no less dangerous. And then, the final set of footsteps came quick, almost impatient. A young man strode in, his leather jacket half-zipped, dark jeans clashing boldly against the formal setting. His grin was sharp, his gaze mischievous, and he carried himself like someone untouchable. "Who dares poison Madame Zhao? Whoever it is, I'll crush them." His words were loud, reckless, and brimming with arrogance. This was Zhao Ruifeng, the youngest, the wild CEO of a sprawling media and entertainment conglomerate. Famous for his flamboyance, notorious temper, and a trail of scandals, yet adored by the masses. Now, the three stood together in the hall, their auras clashing like storms. Even the servants dared not breathe too loudly. The butler finally stepped forward. Madame Zhao is stable for now. But before she lost consciousness again, she made us promise to honor the one who saved her life. He turned toward Mei Lin. All three men followed his gesture, and their gazes landed on the village girl trembling at the corner of the sofa. Mei Lin's stomach knotted. She wished the floor would swallow her whole. Tian Ming's cold eyes narrowed. He stepped closer, each stride precise, sharp like a blade. "You were the one who helped my mother." Mei Lin's voice trembled. I only did what I knew. My grandmother taught me about herbs. I couldn't just stand by while she was suffering." Wei Liang's expression softened, his smile growing warmer. "Remarkable. You acted when no one else could. You are braver than most city doctors I know." Rue Feng tilted his head, his grin widening. He scanned Mei Lin openly, as though she were a puzzle he wanted to play with. "So this little country girl is the reason our mother is alive? Huh. I like her already." Mei Lin's cheeks burned. She lowered her head, praying no one noticed. But Tian Ming's gaze sharpened further. "Where exactly are you from?" His tone was sharp, almost accusing, as though saving Madame Zhao wasn't enough to earn his trust. "From Xinghua village," she stammered. At the name, Wei Liang's brows lifted. "That is deep in the mountains, isn't it? A place untouched by modern hospitals. No wonder you rely on traditional medicine." "Yes," Mei Lin whispered, her hands gripping her shawl tighter. For a moment, silence stretched. And then Rue Feng laughed, his voice booming across the hall. "Well, brothers, whatever her origin, we owe her. If she hadn't been here, Mother might not be breathing. So, what shall we do?" The question wasn't light. The Zhao family was bound by honor. Repaying debts wasn't optional, it was law. Wei Liang turned to Mei Lin, his tone smooth, coaxing. "Tell us, Miss Mei, what do you want in return? Money? Education? A position in the Zhao group? Anything is within our power." Mei Lin froze. Anything? But what could she even ask for? She had never dreamed beyond her small village. Before she could answer, Tian Ming's voice cut in like ice. "We can decide for her. A life debt cannot be repaid with coins. It must be repaid with blood and ties." His cold eyes lingered on her, unyielding. "She should join our family." The hall fell into a stunned silence. Even the butler blinked in surprise. "Join our family?" Rue Feng smirked, his mischievous tone dripping with amusement. "What do you mean, brother? As a servant? Or?" Tian Ming's gaze didn't waver. "As one of us." Mei Lin gasped, her breath caught in her throat. Wei Liang chuckled softly, though there was tension behind his smile. "So it begins. The question of who will claim the savior of our mother." And for the first time, Mei Lin realized her simple act of kindness had placed her in the middle of a storm she could never have imagined. The atmosphere in the Zhao mansion grew heavy, as if the very walls could sense the unspoken rivalry simmering beneath the surface. Mei Lin sat frozen on the velvet sofa, her hands trembling in her lap. Three pairs of powerful eyes bore into her, each carrying their own brand of danger. Zhao Tianming, the eldest, stood tall with his arms folded across his chest. His commanding aura filled the room like a storm waiting to break. Zhao Wei Liang, calm and collected, remained seated, observing quietly, his fingertips tapping rhythmically against his knee. Meanwhile, Zhao Rue Feng paced the floor restlessly, smirking as though this was some game that had just begun. The butler, nervous, broke the silence first. "Masters, Madame Zhao still rests. Should we, perhaps, not overwhelm the young lady at once?" "No," Tian Ming's voice cut through like ice. "This cannot wait. A debt to our mother is no small matter. It must be settled properly." Wei Liang sighed softly, a shadow of a smile playing at his lips. "Elder brother, you always turn everything into a business negotiation. She is not a contract to be signed. She is a human being. Rue Feng barked a laugh, throwing himself lazily into an armchair. Exactly. So let her choose for herself. Brother wants her bound to us like an asset, but I say we give her options. His eyes glimmered as he looked at Mei Lin. And I'll make sure mine is irresistible. Mei Lin's cheeks flamed under the sudden attention. I never asked for anything. Tian Ming's sharp gaze snapped to her, silencing her instantly. That is precisely why you deserve everything. You saved Mother without expectation of reward. That makes you worthy. His jaw tightened, then he declared, From this day forward, you will stay with us. No objections. The firmness in his tone made the servants exchange wary glances. When Tian Ming decided something, no one dared resist. But Rue Feng's laughter broke the tension. You think you can just order her life like one of your corporate takeovers? TSK. No wonder the boardroom trembles whenever you walk in. He leaned forward, his smirk widening. Little village girl, don't listen to him. I can give you freedom, fun, and the entire world of lights and fame. You want to see the city? Ride in private jets? Be on stage in front of millions? Stick with me. His words were tempting, his confidence magnetic. Mei Lin bit her lip, overwhelmed. Wei Liang finally rose to his feet, his calm smile hiding a shrewd glint. Both of you are only thinking of what you want. Has anyone asked her what she wants? His question pierced the room. All eyes turned to Mei Lin again. She wanted to vanish, but she forced herself to speak. I only wanted to help. I don't deserve all this. Please, I don't want to cause trouble. Wei Liang's smile softened. You deserve far more than you think. And you are not causing trouble, Mei Lin. You gave our family something no wealth could buy, our mother's life. For that, we will never let you go back to being forgotten in some mountain village. Mei Lin's heart raced. His words felt kind, but they also carried a subtle insistence. Tian Ming suddenly stepped closer, his shadow falling over her. Wei Liang is right. You cannot leave. You will live here from now on. The Zhao family will provide for you. She lifted her gaze to meet his, only to be struck by the intensity in his eyes. Cold, unreadable, yet there was something fierce lurking beneath, something that made her chest tighten. But before she could respond, Rue Feng shot to his feet. No way. If she stays here, you'll cage her like a bird in a golden prison. Not happening. He strode over and stood boldly in front of Mei Lin, shielding her from Tian Ming's looming presence. If anyone deserves her gratitude, it's me. I'll protect her. I'll make sure she enjoys life, not suffocate under your rules. The clash was immediate. Sparks practically crackled between the two brothers, their glares sharp enough to slice steel. Wei Liang, ever the diplomat, stepped between them, raising his hands. Stop. Do you want to frighten her further? Look at her, she's shaking. Mei Lin hadn't realized it, but her shoulders were trembling. Her throat felt dry, her heart hammering painfully. Wei Liang turned back to her gently. Don't be afraid. They may act like wolves, but deep down, they are only trying to protect what they value. That includes you now. His voice lowered to a soft persuasion. Mei Lin, perhaps the best way to settle this is for you to spend time with each of us. Let us show you who we are, and then you can decide where you feel you belong. Mei Lin's eyes widened. Decide? Between you three. Wei Liang's lips curved slightly, but his eyes flickered with challenge toward his brothers. Yes. Let her decide. Rue Feng laughed and clapped his hands. Now that is interesting. Finally, a fair fight. He turned to Mei Lin, winking. Don't worry, sweetheart. I always win when it comes to women. Tian Ming's expression darkened, his jaw clenched like iron. This is not a game. Then don't treat her like property, Rue Feng shot back, grinning. Tian Ming's fists tightened, but he said nothing. Instead, his icy gaze shifted to Mei Lin again. Think carefully. Being with me means power, security, and a future without fear. No one would ever dare harm you. The weight of his words sank heavily into her chest. Wei Liang stepped closer, his voice warm, persuasive. And being with me means balance, understanding, and a partner who listens. I can give you peace in the middle of this storm." Finally, Rue Feng leaned in, his grin mischievous but strangely sincere. "And being with me means adventure, freedom, life without chains. You won't just survive, Mei Lin. You'll live." Her head spun. 3 brothers, 3 worlds colliding before her eyes. She swallowed hard, clutching her shawl, whispering almost to herself, "I never asked for this." But deep down, something stirred. Perhaps destiny had brought her here. Perhaps saving Madame Zhao was more than coincidence. One thing was certain, her life as a quiet village girl was over. The following morning, the Zhao mansion buzzed with a strange energy. Servants whispered in corners, exchanging rumors about the village girl who had suddenly become the center of attention for the 3 heirs. For the first time in years, the brothers, who usually clashed only in boardrooms, were preparing for something far more personal, a battle for a single heart. Mei Lin, meanwhile, felt like a deer caught in a snare. She woke up in a room bigger than her entire house back in the village, the satin sheets too soft, the chandelier too dazzling. She pressed a hand against her chest, whispering to herself, "This isn't my world. I don't belong here." Her thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. A maid entered, bowing slightly. "Miss Mei Lin, the young masters request your presence in the garden. They insisted you choose breakfast with them." Mei Lin's brows knitted in confusion. "All 3 of them?" "Yes, miss." The garden was a picture of elegance. Marble tables under cherry blossom trees, golden sunlight spilling across trimmed hedges. Yet the peaceful scenery couldn't mask the silent tension of 3 powerful men waiting. Tianming was already seated, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit even at breakfast, his posture rigid. Wei Liang wore a light gray ensemble, serene as always, sipping tea as though nothing could disturb him. Rue Feng, in contrast, lounged casually, tossing grapes into his mouth, his shirt unbuttoned at the collar. When Mei Lin arrived, 3 pairs of eyes locked onto her at once. Tianming stood immediately. "Sit here." He gestured to the seat beside him, his tone leaving little room for refusal. Before Mei Lin could move, Rue Feng jumped up, dragging a chair closer to himself. "No way, big brother. She sits with me. Why would she want to sit next to a block of ice in the morning?" He winked at her. "Come, little village flower, I'll make sure breakfast isn't boring." Wei Liang chuckled softly, setting down his teacup. "You're both scaring her. Mei Lin, sit wherever you feel comfortable. No pressure." Mei Lin hesitated, her heart thumping nervously. Choosing one felt like rejecting the other 2, but at last she slipped into the chair near Wei Liang, neutral ground. Rue Feng smirked. "Huh. She chose the middle. Clever girl. Doesn't want to make enemies." Tianming's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing, slicing his steak with cold precision. The breakfast began, though it was hardly peaceful. Tianming leaned slightly toward her, his voice low. "Have you thought about what I said? Staying here under my protection would be the wisest choice. The world is cruel. You're too innocent to face it alone." Before she could reply, Rue Feng cut in with a scoff. "Protection, protection, protection. That's all you ever talk about. What she needs is freedom. Don't let him cage you, Mei Lin. Stick with me and you'll taste life. Parties, music, the city lights. I'll show you everything." Wei Liang dabbed his lips with a napkin and looked at Mei Lin with calm eyes. "Ignore their noise. What you truly need is peace. The world doesn't have to be about battles or chaos. If you stay close to me, I promise to keep things gentle. A life where you can breathe." Mei Lin's fork trembled in her hand. Their words clashed like blades, yet each carried a strange allure. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Then Rue Feng leaned closer, teasing. "So, whose offer tempts you, little flower? The golden cage, the quiet library, or the carnival lights?" Mei Lin flushed. I don't want any of those. I just want to go back to my life. Please, stop fighting over me." Silence fell. Even the birds seemed to hush. Tianming's brows drew together. His voice softened just slightly, though still firm. That life is gone. Do you think the people who poisoned Mother will ignore you now? You're a target. Going back would mean death. Her heart skipped. Death. Wei Liang nodded gently. He's right. The Zhao family has enemies. By saving Mother, you've stepped into our world, whether you wished it or not. If anyone finds out who you are, you could be used against us. Her lips trembled. So I can never go home. Rui Feng's confident smile faltered. For once, he didn't mock his brothers. He leaned back, sighing. That's the truth, little flower. Like it or not, you're part of this mess now. Tears stung Mei Lin's eyes, but she blinked them back. She wouldn't cry in front of them. At that moment, Tianming reached out, almost hesitant, and placed a firm hand over hers. Don't be afraid. I'll keep you safe. Always. The sudden warmth of his touch sent a shock through her chest. His eyes, cold as they were, held something else now. A promise. Wei Liang's gaze softened, though he didn't try to stop Tianming. Instead, he leaned closer and whispered, Safety is not enough, Mei Lin. You also need someone who understands you. Remember that. Rui Feng, unwilling to be outdone, grabbed her other hand and grinned. Forget safety and understanding. I'll give you excitement. A life worth remembering. Mei Lin's head spun. Her hands trapped between theirs. She felt like she was suffocating under the weight of their intentions. I don't know what to choose, she whispered desperately. But before anyone could respond, a servant rushed into the garden, bowing hurriedly. Masters, there's urgent news. The poisoner has been caught. But he claims he wasn't acting alone. The air grew tense. Tianming's expression hardened instantly. Take us to him. Wei Liang rose calmly, though his eyes sharpened like blades. So the real mastermind still hides in the shadows. Rui Feng cracked his knuckles, his smirk returning. Finally, a chance for some action. Mei Lin's pulse quickened as they all stood, their attention shifting to the threat. Yet in her heart, she realized one truth. No matter who the poisoner was, no matter what dangers lay ahead, her life was already bound to the three brothers. And soon, she would have to choose between them. The underground chamber of the Zhao estate was nothing like Mei Lin had ever seen. Lit by dim torches, with walls lined in stone and steel, it resembled a dungeon more than the basement of a billionaire's mansion. At the center, tied to a chair, sat the man accused of poisoning Madame Zhao. His face was gaunt, his clothes stained, and his eyes gleamed with a mixture of fear and defiance. Mei Lin clung to the staircase railing as Tianming, Wei Liang, and Rui Feng stepped forward like predators circling prey. She had insisted on coming, though her heart thundered with dread. The poisoner spat blood onto the floor, glaring at his captors. Kill me if you want. I won't talk. Tianming's jaw tightened. You already confessed to delivering the poison. Now tell us who hired you. His voice was ice, sharp enough to freeze the air. The man smirked, despite the swelling bruise on his cheek. Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Because the one who ordered this isn't outside your family. It's inside. Mei Lin gasped softly. Rui Feng slammed a fist against the wall, cracking the plaster. Don't play games with us, rat. Who is it? The prisoner laughed bitterly, blood dripping from his lips. The Zhao family loves to wear masks of honor. But one of you is willing to kill their own mother for power. For the first time, the three brothers glanced at one another, suspicion flashing between them like lightning. Wei Liang, ever calm, leaned forward, his tone quiet yet cutting. If you're lying, I'll know. Speak. The poisoner's grin widened. His gaze slid past the brothers and landed on Mei Lin. Or maybe, the girl knows. Yes, the village girl. Every eye turned toward her. Mei Lin's breath caught in her throat. Me. I don't know anything. The man chuckled darkly. Don't you? Think carefully, little healer. Why were you there that night? Why did fate place you at the Zhao estate's door at the exact moment Madame Zhao needed saving? Who brought you here? Do you even know the truth about your family? Her knees weakened. She stumbled back against the cold wall. "What are you saying?" Tianming grabbed the man by the collar, shaking him violently. "Stop twisting the truth." His voice cracked with rage. But the poisoner only hissed. "Ask her about the village. About the fire. About her real name." The chamber fell into stunned silence. Mei Lin's hands trembled uncontrollably. A fire. Her real name. She had vague childhood memories, shadows of smoke, voices screaming, someone carrying her away, but she had buried them deep, thinking they were only nightmares. Wei Liang stepped toward her slowly, his voice uncharacteristically urgent. "Mei Lin, is there something you haven't told us?" I don't." Tears blurred her vision. "I don't remember." Rue Feng cursed, running a hand through his hair. "This bastard's just trying to confuse us. Don't listen." Yet, beneath his reckless tone, his eyes darted toward Mei Lin, searching for answers. The poisoner laughed until he coughed blood. "You think you can protect her? You don't even know who she is. But others do. The mastermind already knows her value." Tianming's patience shattered. He drew a blade from his belt, pressing it against the prisoner's throat. "Enough riddles. Give me a name, now." The man's smile twisted. "Fine. But my life is already over. The name you seek is..." Before he could finish, an arrow shot through the air, piercing his chest. His words choked into a gurgle. Blood splattered across the stone floor. "Sniper!" Rue Feng shouted, pulling Mei Lin down to the ground. Chaos erupted. Guards rushed in, but it was too late. The poisoner slumped lifelessly in the chair, his secret dying with him. Tianming's eyes burned with fury as he searched the shadows. They silenced him, which means he was telling the truth. Wei Liang clenched his fists, his calm facade cracking. And now Mei Lin is in greater danger than ever. Later that night, Mei Lin sat in the guest room, trembling beneath the moonlight. The brothers had argued endlessly downstairs, their voices carrying through the halls. "She can't stay here," Tianming had said coldly. "If the mastermind wants her, she's a liability. She saved Mother's life." Wei Liang's voice rose in rare anger. "She's under our protection now. Sending her away would be the same as delivering her to death." Rue Feng's tone was sharp. "Protection? From who, exactly? We don't even know which of us the poisoner meant. What if the enemy is right under our roof? What if it's one of us?" The words had shaken Mei Lin to the core. Could one of them really be capable of betraying their own blood? Her door creaked open. It was Tianming, his face shadowed in the dim light. "You shouldn't be alone," he said quietly. Mei Lin's throat tightened. "Do you believe what he said? About me?" Tianming hesitated, then stepped closer. "I don't care what your past is. I only care about keeping you alive now." His hand brushed against hers, warm and strong. Before she could respond, another voice came from the doorway. "That's not your decision alone, brother." Wei Liang stood there, calm but resolute. His gaze softened as it met Mei Lin's. "Whatever truth lies in your past, Mei Lin, it doesn't change who you are now. Don't let fear consume you." Rue Feng appeared behind him, leaning casually against the frame, though his eyes were unusually serious. "Enough whispering. If she's in danger, then we all protect her. No more debates." The room filled with their presence, three powerful heirs towering over one trembling village girl. Mei Lin clutched the bedsheet, her voice breaking. "Why me? Why are you all doing this for me?" Tianming's voice was low, almost vulnerable. "Because I can't let harm come to you." Wei Liang added softly, "Because you matter more than you realize." And Rue Feng, with a half-smile that didn't reach his eyes, said, "Because whether I like it or not, I've already chosen you." Mei Lin's heart pounded. Surrounded by their vows, she felt both protected and trapped. Somewhere in her forgotten past lay a secret powerful enough to shake the Zhao Empire. And soon, she would have no choice but to face it. The night was restless. Mei Lin lay awake, her mind churning with the poisoner's dying words. The fire, her real name. Each fragment clawed at her memory like embers sparking in the dark. She closed her eyes, and suddenly the images came rushing back. Smoke. Screams. A woman's voice crying her name, not Mei Lin, but something else. Hands pulling her through flames, pushing her toward safety. A burning house collapsing behind her. And then, darkness. Mei Lin gasped, jolting upright in bed, drenched in sweat. Her chest heaved as she whispered, "It wasn't a nightmare, it was real." At breakfast the next morning, the atmosphere at the Zhao estate was razor-sharp. Madame Zhao had recovered enough to sit at the head of the table, her graceful presence commanding even in frailty. The three brothers sat around her, while Mei Lin stood nervously at the edge of the room. "Last night changed everything," Madame Zhao said firmly. "If someone is willing to poison me, then silence the culprit. It means our enemy is closer than we imagined." Her eyes swept over her sons, lingering briefly on Tianming, then Wei Liang, then Rue Feng. Each of them stiffened under her gaze. "And this girl," Madame Zhao continued, turning to Mei Lin. "She saved my life, but now she is entangled in this storm. Perhaps she always was." Mei Lin's heart raced. Should she confess what she had remembered? Before she could speak, Wei Liang rose from his seat. "Mother, Mei Lin is not the enemy. She deserves protection, not suspicion." Tianming interjected coldly. But the poisoner's words weren't nonsense. He mentioned the fire. "Mei Lin, what do you know about it?" All eyes turned toward her. Mei Lin's lips trembled. I saw it. When I was little. A fire, in my village. I thought it was just a nightmare, but it was real. My parents, her voice broke. They died in it." The brothers exchanged startled glances. Madame Zhao's hand trembled as she gripped her teacup. Her voice lowered, heavy with emotion. "What was your name before, child?" Mei Lin hesitated. The sound echoed in her mind, faint but clear. A name whispered through smoke and tears. "My name was Ying Yu." The room froze. Wei Liang's eyes widened. Rue Feng sat up straighter. Even Tianming's mask of coldness faltered. Madame Zhao's teacup slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor. Her face went pale. "Ying Yu." "Mother," Rue Feng asked sharply. "You know this name?" Madame Zhao's lips quivered, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She whispered, almost to herself, "The daughter of the Ying family." Wei Liang's breath caught. "You mean?" "Yes," Madame Zhao said shakily. "The Ying family were once our closest allies, until they perished in a fire 18 years ago. It was no accident. Their wealth, their influence, they were destroyed deliberately. And their only daughter vanished that night." She turned her gaze to Mei Lin, her voice trembling. "That daughter was you." Mei Lin staggered backward, her world spinning. "Me? But I grew up in a small village, raised by strangers. I never knew." "They must have rescued you from the fire," Madame Zhao said, "and changed your name to protect you." The brothers sat in stunned silence. For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, Tianming broke it. His tone was low, dangerous. "If she is truly Ying Yu, then this is no coincidence. Someone wanted the Ying family gone, and now they want her gone too, to erase the last trace of their bloodline." Wei Liang clenched his fists. "Which means the same enemy has haunted us for nearly 2 decades. The question is, who?" Rue Feng leaned forward, his eyes dark with intensity. "Whoever it is, they've been watching, waiting, and they just revealed their hand." Later that day, Mei Lin wandered the gardens, numb with shock. Yingyu. That was who she truly was. The forgotten daughter of a powerful family, destroyed before she could even understand what power meant. She touched the flowers absently, her tears dripping onto the petals. All this time, I thought I was no one, just a village girl. But I've been living a lie. Footsteps approached. She turned to see Wei Liang, his calm demeanor softened by concern. "You're not alone," he said gently. "No matter your name, you're still the Mei Lin we know. The one who saved Mother's life. The one who has brought light into this house." Her chest tightened. "But if I'm truly Yingyu, then I've brought danger to you. To everyone. Maybe I shouldn't stay here." Wei Liang shook his head firmly. "Don't even think of leaving. If you run, they'll find you faster. If you stay, we can protect you. I can protect you." Mei Lin's breath hitched at the intensity in his eyes. Why do you care so much?" He hesitated. Then, with rare vulnerability, he admitted, "Because somewhere along the way, you became more than just someone to protect." Her heart pounded wildly. Before she could respond, another voice cut through the air. "So it's true." Tianming emerged from the shadows of the garden, his expression unreadable. His eyes, however, burned with restrained fire. "You're Yingyu, which means you're not just some girl we owe a debt to. You are the heir of a destroyed family. And that makes you a target and a key." Mei Lin swallowed nervously. "A key to what?" "To power," Tianming said bluntly. "If the truth of your identity spreads, allies and enemies alike will rally. Some will want to use you. Others will want to eliminate you. And I won't allow either." He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a low growl. "From now on, you're under my watch." Wei Liang's expression hardened. "She's not an object to guard like treasure, Tianming. She's a person. Don't treat her like another business deal." Tianming's eyes flashed dangerously at his brother. "Then don't treat her like she's already yours." The tension between them thickened, the air heavy with rivalry. Mei Lin stood between them, trembling, unsure of whether to speak or flee. And then Rui Feng appeared, his usual smirk gone, his gaze deadly serious. "Both of you are missing the point. This isn't about who protects her. It's about who wants her dead. And I think I know where to start looking." The brothers turned to him. Rui Feng's jaw tightened. "Inside our family." Mei Lin's stomach dropped. "You mean, one of you?" The silence that followed was louder than any thunder. That night, as the estate fell into uneasy quiet, a shadow moved outside Mei Lin's window. A cloaked figure watched her sleeping form, a dagger glinting faintly in the moonlight. The enemy had already entered their walls. The night air was unnaturally still. Even the crickets seemed to fall silent as the moonlight spilled over the Zhao estate. Inside her chamber, Mei Lin, Yingyu, tossed in uneasy sleep, the weight of her newfound identity pressing down on her chest like an iron chain. Outside, a shadow crept closer. The cloaked figure moved like smoke, silent and precise. A dagger gleamed faintly in his hand, catching the silver light of the moon. His eyes were fixed on her window. Mei Lin stirred, awakened by a faint creak. She blinked, disoriented, then froze as she saw the silhouette at her bedside. The dagger flashed. She screamed. The blade descended, only to be caught in midair by a strong hand. Wei Liang. He had rushed in at the sound, his eyes blazing as he grappled with the assassin. The clash sent the weapon clattering to the floor. "Run, Mei Lin!" he shouted. But before she could move, the door burst open again. Tianming stormed in, sword drawn, his expression colder than steel. "Move aside, Liang!" he barked, lunging at the intruder with merciless precision. Steel clashed, sparks flying. The assassin fought with desperate skill, his movements swift, but Tianming was relentless, each strike sharper, faster, fueled by something dark and furious. Mei Lin pressed against the wall, trembling, watching the violent dance of blades and fists. Then Rui Feng entered, a pistol in hand, so unlike his usual playful demeanor. His face was pale, eyes deadly. "One wrong move," Rui Feng hissed, aiming at the intruder's head, "and you die here." The assassin froze. His hood slipped back, revealing a scarred face, one of the Zhao family's longtime guards. Gasps filled the room. "It's you!" Wei Liang's voice broke in disbelief. "Why? You were sworn to protect us." The man spat blood, sneering. "Protect you? I was protecting the truth. The Ying family was destroyed for a reason. And she," his eyes flicked toward Mei Lin, "was never meant to live." Tian Ming's blade pressed against his throat. "Who ordered you?" The man smirked, even with death inches away. "The same person who ordered the fire 18 years ago. The same person living under this roof." Mei Lin's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" Before he could speak further, a whistle pierced the night air. The assassin stiffened, then suddenly jerked as an arrow shot through the window, piercing his chest. He collapsed at Tian Ming's feet, lifeless. Silence. Wei Liang's eyes widened. Someone silenced him. From outside. He rushed to the window, but the archer was gone, vanished into the night. Tian Ming cursed, slamming his sword into its sheath. Rui Feng lowered his pistol, muttering bitterly, "We were a step too late." Again. The next morning, the estate was suffocating with suspicion. Servants whispered in corners. Guards doubled their watch. Yet trust within the family was fractured beyond repair. Madame Zhao summoned them all to the grand hall. Her face was pale, but her voice carried the weight of iron. "This house is bleeding from within," she said, her eyes sharp despite the tremor in her hands. "If our own guard was turned, then betrayal has already taken root here. And if Ying Yu's past is truly the reason, then she must be protected above all else." Mei Lin bowed her head, guilt twisting in her chest. "Madame Zhao, perhaps I should leave. I've brought danger into your home. I cannot let anyone else die because of me." "No," Madame Zhao's voice cracked like a whip. "Leaving will only hasten your death. And there is something you must know." Her gaze swept over her sons before settling on Mei Lin. "The fire 18 years ago. I suspected who was behind it. But I lacked proof. Now, after last night, I no longer doubt." The brothers leaned in, tense. "It was your uncle," Madame Zhao whispered. "My late husband's own brother. He coveted both the Ying fortune and our Zhao name. He orchestrated the fire to wipe out the Ying family, then positioned himself close to us, waiting for his chance. I fear he never stopped waiting." Wei Liang's jaw clenched. "Then he's the one sending assassins." Tian Ming's eyes narrowed like blades. "If he's inside these walls, he won't leave alive." Rui Feng smirked bitterly. "Careful, brother. If we strike too openly, we'll only prove ourselves divided. And that's exactly what he wants." That evening, Mei Lin sat by the pond, staring at her reflection in the water. The name Ying Yu echoed endlessly in her head. She barely recognized the face staring back. Was she still Mei Lin, the village girl? Or was she now Ying Yu, heiress of a destroyed family, hunted for her bloodline? A gentle voice broke her thoughts. "No matter what name you carry, you are you." Wei Liang stood behind her, his eyes warm despite the storm raging around them. He knelt beside her, lowering his voice. "I don't care if you're Mei Lin or Ying Yu. I care about you. Say, please, let me protect you." Her lips parted, her heart aching. But before she could answer, another figure appeared. Tian Ming. His presence loomed like a shadow, his gaze unyielding. "Empty promises," he said coldly to his brother. "Protection means nothing if you can't strike first. Mei Lin, listen to me. You want to survive. Stay by my side. I'll tear apart anyone who dares touch you." Wei Liang rose, fury in his eyes. "You're not her savior, Tianming. You're just trying to claim her like property. And you," Tianming shot back, "are trying to cage her with gentle words. Don't mistake weakness for love." The air between them crackled with the heat of an impending fight. Mei Lin stepped back, tears welling in her eyes. "Stop it, both of you. This isn't about who wins me, it's about who wants me dead." Silence fell, heavy and raw. Then Rui Feng's voice cut in, quieter but sharper than both. He leaned casually against a tree, though his eyes glimmered with something darker than usual. "You're both fools. Haven't you realized? The enemy doesn't need to kill her outright. All they need is to make us destroy each other." Mei Lin's breath caught. Rui Feng's words rang truer than anything else. That night, the Zhao estate descended into chaos once more. A fire erupted in the eastern wing, smoke curling into the night sky. Guards shouted, servants screamed. Mei Lin was dragged from her room by strong hands, Wei Liang's, who shielded her from the flames. But as they stumbled into the courtyard, another figure approached from the smoke. Her heart froze. It was the uncle, Zhao Jian. His eyes gleamed with malice as he stepped forward, flanked by mercenaries. "So," he sneered, his gaze falling on Mei Lin, "the littling girl survived after all. No matter. Tonight, I finish what I started." Tianming drew his sword, Rui Feng raised his pistol, and Wei Liang tightened his grip on Mei Lin's hand. The three brothers stood united for the first time, not against each other, but against the shadow that had haunted them all their lives. Mei Lin's pulse thundered in her ears. This was it. The truth, the betrayal, the fire, it had all led to this moment. And as the flames roared higher, she realized something terrifying and beautiful. She was no longer just a girl caught in their storm. She was the storm itself. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Until we meet again in the next story, take care and keep the magic of imagination alive.